Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where...
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like... Fucker! You fucker! Fucker!
Huh? What the f...
Hello again, everyone, and welcome once more to another installment from Bionic Slime's BS Anime Reviews. This time, I'll be taking a look at, in my opinion, one of the worst movies from one of the best anime series out there, and that's Dragon Ball. For those of you who are wondering, it's my favorite anime series of all time, and I'll be reviewing the first movie out of the 4 films that it has, and the first movie is called Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. There are 4 films of Dragon Ball in total. This and one other film are the only 2 Dragon Ball movies out of the 4 that were dubbed and produced under the original Trimark Kids Entertainment Company before Funimation came and bought the remainder episodes of Dragon Ball. They also dubbed the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball, which is pretty much the entire Emperor Pilaf saga. Dragon Ball Curse of Blood Rubies was directed by Daisuke Nishio, with story by Akira Toyama, and starred the vocal talents of Saffron Henderson as Goku, Lalania Lindbergh as Bulma, Ted Cole as Yamcha, Andrea Libman as Penny, Terrell Rothery as Raven, Dave Ward as Major Vongo, and Gary Chalk as King Gurumez. The plot. Basically, Curse of Blood Rubies is a retelling of the original story of Dragon Ball with some minor changes and new characters. It follows Goku and he first meets Bulma on the quest for the Dragon Balls, and when they find out what they actually are, they go on search for them and run into such characters as Yamcha, the Desert Bandit Thief, the Turtle Hermit Master Roshi, and the shapeshifters Oolong and Puar. However, they run into some problems when instead of running into Emperor Pilaf, the film introduces a new villain called King Gurumez, who is a horribly, hideously deformed king who has been turned into a ogre-like blob monster who has an unsatiable appetite and it can never have his hunger quenched. So he sends his minions, Raven and Major Vongo, to go out and search for the Dragon Balls, as well as to continue digging up Blood Rubies, which ironically also gave the king his curse, forcing a young girl named Penny, whose village is being terrorized by King Gurumez, to seek out Goku and his friends in order to stop King Gurumez and save her village and the world. The good. What I definitely noticed right away about this is that the color scheme was certainly vastly improved compared to the anime series. They definitely made things a lot shinier and brighter, much more colorful. I mean, the colors are greatly enhanced in all of the characters and the fight scenes, so it's much more noticeable. It has kind of like a rainbow quality because there's so much color in all the new characters and all the enhanced colors to the old character, the scenery, excuse me. And there was it was very bright, very nicely done, nicely animated. With that, I don't really care for retellings personally. However, I was very impressed with how they handled Yamcha's entrance. He had a really nicely designed entrance, and he looked very badass, much more impressive and daunting a character than he did when he first appeared. I mean, he didn't have the ominous presence that I think his identity of as a bandit thief was supposed to have in the original anime series. So the movie took good notice and made him much more threatening as a character's presence, which I liked. I also loved the design of King Gurumez, the new villain. He's voiced by Gary Chalk, who's a voice actor in one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Beast Wars. And I thought he was a very unique-looking creature. He's probably one of the most unusual-looking villains for the Dragon Ball series in terms of his grotesquely obese appearance and his bizarre huge eyeball and stuff like that. He was just a really neat guy, and I thought the fight scenes, the few as they were with Major Vongo and Goku, were pretty nicely done. The bad. As you noticed, I ended the good portion of this review rather quickly. That's because I'm sorry to say that there is much more in the bad section of this review than there is in the good. To be honest, I was stretching it as much as I could to make the good review sound as nice as it is, because I'm sorry to say that this movie is just crap. It's awful. It's probably the worst of the Dragon Ball movies. It was just so pitifully horrible, and unfortunately, I have a lot of reasons to tell you why. First off, it's so boringly repetitive to see the same story redone again. I don't really want to see the exact same sequence of events of how Goku met Bulma and Master Roshi and Yamcha all over again. It's done so quickly in this short little movie that it makes the whole concept of character interaction development just meaningless. Even in the Dragon Ball Z movies, they at least had original storylines and had new characters that, while they didn't develop as quickly, at least they were able to do it without repeating the same story over and over again. Dragon Ball Evolution, that shit-tacular American movie that was just recently made, pretty much does the same thing this movie does. And it just butchers it just as poorly. There's so little interaction or anything new here that it's like, why even bother watching this in the first place when you could just be watching the original 13 episodes? The only new advantage is the new villains, which is Major Vongo, Raven, and King Gurumez. And you know what? They're barely in the flippin' thing. What's the freaking point? King Gurumez has an awesome, badass design. He's wasted completely and utterly by having a piss-poor, if you could call it, fight towards the end, where he's pretty much taken out just as quickly as he appears. Raven and Vongo are pretty stupid and senseless characters with paper-thin, bland personalities, which derive no little interest or intrigue to want to see more of them. And it all happens so fast, it's like, what's the freaking point? This felt almost like some sort of childish Scooby-Doo kind of adventure with this new little girl, Penny, who just basically served the same lame purpose that every other little measly child character Goku has met. You know what? Honestly, she looks like Snow from the Dragon Ball Red Ribbon Army song, the little girl who helped Goku out of the freezing cold when he was fighting General White in Muscle Tower. She looks exactly like her. Probably voiced by the same person, too. And it just lacks complete any interest or any flair. Why would you bother to see the whole story all over again, especially when you have so little to offer in it? This movie would have been actually quite effective had they put more new material in. The second Dragon Ball movie, The Sleeping Princess at Devil's Castle, is by far my favorite, unless you count the fourth one, which was the Dragon Ball 10th Anniversary movie, Path to Power, but that was done in a more new age style of animation. But anyway, point is, Sleeping Princess at Devil's Castle did do another retelling. However, they managed to incorporate a great deal of new storylines and new characters and a whole new plot, whereas this just basically tells the same thing over and over again. Only the difference is you're putting King Gurumez in there instead of Emperor Pilaf. And at least Pilaf was funny to watch. This guy is just poorly used, poorly wasted. This film is clunky, and it just basically is the same old trick. There's nothing really imaginative here, nothing really helpful here. And it's a relatively short movie, so if you ever do happen to try and find it, don't expect much from it. Because the box set that I got it from is rare, and I'm not going to sell the damn thing because I don't think this is worth buying back on DVD, even unless Funimation actually does it and makes it better somehow, which I highly doubt, because this is a pretty bad piece of movie shit. I was really disappointed with this film, and basically felt that they just used the same things over and over again, and it just lost my interest totally. I mean, I still have it. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I don't feel the need to watch it. My friend who I'm trying to get into Dragon Ball, I didn't bother to show it to him because, in all honesty, I don't think it's that worth it. Final wrap-up. Although it has nice animation, an interesting new villain design in the form of King Gurumez, and a beautiful new entrance remastered for Yamcha, this film is certainly not worth your trouble and definitely not worth your money. It's poorly written, poorly controlled, and just so clunky with its fast wrap-up speediness of going through the same trials of Goku meeting Yamcha, Bulma, Master Roshi again. It's poorly done. It barely uses its villains, who are lame and boring as you can possibly imagine. This is a terrible film. Absolute snot snore fest, and I just wish that if they had done this properly, you may have had at least a halfway decent movie out of this, but instead you got the boring old same crap with some minor fractions of differences. The new characters do not make up much of a difference. In fact, I pretty much showed you all the new material in these photos for this review. That's how bad this movie is. Out of 5 stars, I give Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies 1 star out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Anime Reviews, and I hope to hear from you again. Bye for now.